All right, Dixie, we're going 10-6A now. We're going from a 9-team district to a 7-team district. And the teams that made the playoffs there were pretty solid last year. They left one of the guys that we predicted to make the postseason on the doorstep there in Forney. Longview hit a lot of graduation. I mean, that's a state semifinalist, but they graduate a lot. But that's a team I don't think I want to knock on too much, man. I know you knocked on them a little bit at the beginning. You didn't really think they were going to win this district. They pulled it off. And what do you think about them? And then I want to hear about the Rockwell schools and Coach Shaver's North Forney Falcons.
And Coach Fleener's Forney Jackrabbits. We got a lot to talk about, Ward. Fortunately, with only 7 teams, I get to talk a little bit longer, a little bit more in depth about these teams. But Longview last year was very disrespected by this podcast because we said that they might not make the playoffs. Like, how dare we say they might not make the playoffs? Because it wasn't that I thought that they were bad. It's just that everybody else, the depth of this district was so good. And, Boozy, like the Boozy name, he graduated. But, I mean, it seems like Longview has a Boozy every year. We had Taylor Tatum and now Boozy, and now we got his cousin coming back and Johnny Hamilton and Mason Washington and some really good players. And it's hard to replace 2,500 yards and 34 touchdowns, but they did it from the nation's #1 running back the year before. So I think that they can do some really good things this year. They got some quarterback things that they got to figure out because Jacaden Davis is an incoming sophomore. Last year, we saw Johnny Hamilton in that game against Lancaster, which I thought they were going to lose for sure. Johnny Hamilton actually came in and steadied the ship when Maverick Rowe was having some issues. But I've heard that they think that Jacaden Davis is going to come in and maybe shift Johnny Hamilton over to running back. But, this is not East Texas Inside High School Sports, so I can't give you all the details about what's happening now on I-20. But I know that these are all players you got to keep an eye on. Jacaden Davis, Johnny Hamilton, Mason Washington, Key Marion Pickron. Jaden Herndon is a sophomore who's already got an SMU offer. It feels like we're going to have another just wide receiver university over there at Longview. And their defense is what everybody is so excited about over there. In Kristen Williams, Tyson Johnson, Jaden Woolridge, that's their defensive line. These are all kids who are going to be playing college football. Their quarterback situation is also really good in Decaden Carter and Robert White. And Ward, I know you hate when I do your job for you, but South Oak Cliff versus Longview is here this year. Get a camera crew out
where
there.
I need to be.
You got to do it. You got to do it for everybody.
Got to let it make it happen. All right. I'll see what I can do there. Let's talk about North Forney. Last year they played 7 games on the road. So you flip it this year. They got 7 games at home, including their first 6. And they got some of the big dogs in this district coming to their house in Longview and Heath. And I believe Forney's going over there, although it's not much of a bus ride. It's still something. And they got a legend at quarterback. So tell me about that squad. Tell me about Forney as well.
Legend Bay, one more year. I mean, people are just talking about this guy as he is what his name is, the legend. Last year, he had 1,400 yards passing, but he had 1,900 yards rushing, 28 touchdowns. If he can get the passing game going this year, I mean, we could see 5,000 yards out of Legend Bay, 2-3 rounds in the playoffs. And they got a lot of skill players coming back to surround him this year. Elijah Odieno, very talented wide receiver, 800 yards receiving and 9 touchdowns. They got Braden Fleming at wide receiver. They got Adikin Asukwo at running back, who had 800 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. So between all of this, what they have coming back, we're looking at almost 4,000 yards of returning offensive proven production. And like you said, they've got all these games at home, and their defense, the players we talked about last year all got better. Ryan Gilbert, a really good cornerback over there. Josiah Turner. These are players who are, players to watch, recruits. Marcus Page, the really good offensive lineman, is coming back. They are stacked, and they've got depth. So I think for me, North Forney is a team that's no longer hiding in the shadows.
What about the Rockwell ISD squads? Because they got some players here. I know Rockwell's got a 2-way guy I like a lot in Duckworth, and Heath. This is what Webb's second year back, so maybe he's got some things. Does he have the same stick-to-itiveness as Shavers does in year 2?
This is where you're going to have, if you watch 5 different podcasts talking about 10-6A, this is where it's all going to go awry, because you're going to see a lot of different things. I know our friend over at Dave Campbell's, Matt Stepp, is very high on Rockwell Heath. Last year, I was very high on Forney. And this year, the team I think that a lot of people are not talking about, that I think is really good, that I've seen people say aren't going to make the playoffs, are those Rockwall Yellow Jackets. And it's crazy that there are people out there who legitimately have a claim that Rockwall isn't going to make the playoffs. And if you remember last year, week one, their quarterback goes down, and now this unproven guy named Brent Rickard had to step up, and all he did was throw for 2,650 yards, 39 touchdowns. And one of the stats I know, Ward, you love to talk about and analyze is that interception to touchdown ratio. He only had 9 interceptions in a very pass happy offense.
Right.
So when you have to replace Landon Locke out of nowhere, you're not getting the reps, and you're thrown in. He's the guy this year, Ward. I mean, we all know he is the guy. He's back. He's got the confidence. I think that he is going to be a leader, and Rockwall does really good offensive sound things. They're going to be really hard to stop offensively. AJ Hatcher at running back coming back. He had 650 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns last year. Caden Castro in kind of in rotation duty saw 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. You talked about the two-way player at Jack Duckworth. He can catch the ball, Ward. You can put him at tight end. He can be cornerback. He can do everything. When you got that Duckworth name, you know you're going to be good. He had 472 yards and 5 touchdowns. We talked about family affairs last week. Jackson Stoner, another Stoner, is coming through. He's a really, really talented, tall tight end. And one thing that I always kind of give Rockwall, give them a little grief for, is their defense. They'll give up 80 points on a North Crowley on you.
Right.
And this year they've got some really good pieces coming back in the secondary in Will Ashworth and Zayden Edwards. So I think Rockwall is the team to beat outside of those top 2 teams, which I think are probably going to start the year state ranked. But I like Rockwall as my number 3, and I like their crosstown rivals at number 4. Sorry, Coach Fleener, I got to put you on the outside again. You can clip us, you can put us on the bulletin board, because Rockwall Heath last year suffered an injury-ravaged year. And so now they got everybody coming back. They got Prosper Neal at quarterback. They got Sean Gary at wide receiver, Christian Contreras on the defensive side of the ball, Landon Foster, Quincy Jones, Zeke Cannon. I think Rockwall Heath has just enough to pull ahead for that 4th spot. And I can understand why the Forney Nation would be mad, because Nelson Peterson, kin to NFL, lineage, 154 yards, 24 touchdowns. The best running back in the nation, Ward, Javian Osborne, who basically was playing with a broken arm last year, 1,000 yards rushing, 21 touchdowns. Javian's got it all. He's got vision. He's got strength. He's got power. He's going to be a big player at the next level. They got a really good wide receiver in Amari Jahill, who had 600 yards rushing last year, or 600 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns. How about Preston Jackson, who had 368 yards and 6 touchdowns last? We talked about North Forney returning almost 4,000 yards of offensive production. Forney returns 4,000 yards of offensive production. But what Forney could not handle last year was the size and depth of 6A. I don't think that's going to be fixed in 1 year. So I've got them on the outside looking in. And in any other district breakdown, I would want to sit here and talk about Royce City, because their freshman class is ridiculously loaded. I got to, my kid was cheerleading at Plano East last year. Got to watch a 52-0 drubbing from the freshmen at Royce City beating us. They beat Longview, Rockwall Heath, North Forney, and as freshmen. This is a loaded freshman class. They're just too young in this district. They're a year away, Ward. And clip this for next year. You can put it on there. Royce City is going to be a team to watch next year. I think they're going to be a little bit too young this year, but they still got some pieces coming back. Jamian Richardson had 1,100 yards throwing the ball, had 298 yards rushing. Xavier Watson, 461 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. Hudson Hayes is a player to watch. Kamarian Clark, 600 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. Again, just like I talked about with Forney, they don't have 6A offensive line and defensive line depth yet.
Well, remind us again 1 through 7. I think everybody remembers, but remind us anyway, so we can finish it off.
Longview Lobos, number 1. North Forney, number 2. Rockwall, number 3. Rockwall Heath, number 4. Forney, number 5. Royce City, an up-and-coming team. Keep an eye on them, number 6. Tyler Legacy, number 7.